All right, boys, so this is all the NHL teams. And I don't think Seattle Kraken is on here. We're not going to count them, though. They're basically not an NHL team. Like, come on. They've been in the NHL for 1 year. You can't count them as a team yet, you know? All right, we got the Anaheim Ducks. I've always fucking hated the Anaheim Ducks. I always have. Ever since I was a kid, for some reason, when they won that cup back in the day, they just pissed me off. I've never liked Ryan Getzlaf. I never liked Corey Perry. They always pissed me off. Those are the Anaheim Ducks that I remember. I always fucking hated those guys. And I fucking hate their logo. I can't tell if their logo is like a footprint or what the fuck it is. I'm going to put the Anaheim Ducks for both logo and team in the D tier. They're the lowest tier. Arizona Coyotes, they're another middling team. You know, they've never done anything for me. I remember specifically they had a really good run to the cup that I really started to like them. I love Shane Doan. He was one of my favorite players of all time. I love that guy. Shane Doan's incredible. But I've never been a big Arizona Coyotes fan. They've had a bajillion different logos. They've had like the worst logos in the history of fucking NHL or in sports possibly. I'm going to put the Arizona Coyotes, just because of that one playoff series, into a C. We got the Boston Bruins. Fuck Boston. I fucking hate Boston. Fuck Boston, fuck their sports scene, fuck them, fuck their announcers, fuck their players, fuck everybody. D, get the fuck out of here, Boston. Fuck you. We got the Buffalo Sabres, Buffalo Soldiers. I've always kind of been impartial to the Buffalo Sabres, I'm not going to lie. I like Dominik Hasek. I like their history. It makes me sad they've never won a cup. Plus, they came in, I think, in the same year as the Canucks. They also have excellent logo, dude. Look at that. The logo they have is fucking sick. The buffalo with the swords, I don't know. I just love that thing, man. I'm going to put Buffalo Sabres in up A tier. This is my team's, like, rival. I do like Calgary's logo. Some of the best memories of watching hockey are the series, like the Canucks versus Flames series from back in like the early 2000s. Those were hard-hitting, fast, fun series, dude. Sometimes you can have a rival, but you can respect them. And you can enjoy watching the hockey that your team plays against them. I'm going to put Calgary probably in a B tier. Carolina Hurricanes, one of my favorite teams in the NHL. I hate their logo. I will give you that. But bro, I remember watching them go to the finals and win that cup, and like all their players I've always loved. I have a lifetime hockey pool that I'm involved in, and I have a couple Carolina Hurricanes players. I've always liked Carolina Hurricanes. Always have, always will. Carolina Hurricanes for me, going to the A. There's times when you enjoy a rivalry. Like the Canucks and Flames rivalry, I've always liked. Great rivalry. Canucks in like Colorado, things like that. I hate the Blackhawks. They have a great logo. I will give you that. The Canucks used to play them in the playoffs. They always just seem so cocky and so douchey. They seem like the frat boys of hockey. And it has a lot to do with Patrick Kane, because Patrick Kane is a piece of shit. Right? He beat up a cabbie for like over a nickel or whatever. I love the Blackhawks history, but I can't stand like the newer Blackhawks. I can't stand their dynasty. Their history will give them one extra ranking, but I'm going to put them in the C tier. Colorado Avalanche. I love watching the Colorado Avalanche right now. The Colorado Avalanche right now, in my opinion, are one of the most exciting teams in the NHL to watch. They're fast. They're young. They're super entertaining to watch. I love watching the Avs. Makar is probably my favorite player in the NHL right now. Makar is an incredible player. He'll probably be one of the best defensemen ever, in my opinion. And he's super fucking fun to watch. The Colorado Avalanche have a great fucking like history. They have a great set of players that have played for them over the years. Patrick Waugh, Peter Forsberg, Joe Sakic, Burnaby Joe, one of the greatest wrist shots in the history of the NHL. I'm going to put the Avalanche in the B tier. I like the Avs. The Columbus Blue Jackets. Columbus Blue Jackets are like somebody who, they can never get anything good. Everybody always tries to help them out. They always try to give them good things, but they can never just have nice things. Columbus, for some reason, always seems to throw their stuff into the dumpster. They could have an incredible team if they kept the fucking players that they have drafted and like picked and stuff like that. But for some reason, they can never have nice things. Columbus Blue Jackets will always be a loser. I hate their logo. It's hard to hate the Blue Jackets because they sucked for so many years. But fuck, they're in a C tier, man. The Dallas Stars are like the middling NHL team. A team that sometimes does good, sometimes does bad, but they never really excel. They've never had like a dynasty or anything like that. Like, Dallas to me is just like a meh team. And the only reason they won their championship is because Brett Hall stepped in the crease when it was like against the rules. Fuck that shit. Dallas Stars are gonna go in a C tier as well. Detroit is like, now they're shit. But dude, there was a time when Detroit didn't miss the playoffs for like 24 years. There's an insane amount of years that Detroit was good enough to make the playoffs and like win championships, bro. Detroit was an incredible team back in the day. One of my favorite players in the world is Nicholas Lidstrom. I love Nicholas Lidstrom. Great defenseman both ways. The guy could put up points. The guy could could hit, he could play defense, he did everything well. And I love their logo. I'm gonna put the Red Wings in like a low A. I like the Red Wings. We got the Coilers. The Coilers for a long time were like the Columbus Blue Jackets of the NHL. They just could not catch a break. I remember when they drafted Nail Yakupov and that guy turned into a bust. Wayne Gretzky is the greatest player of all time. You got to put a little respect on the Coilers for that, because I'd like to see them do well. Like, it sucks, man. They had so many good years. They had one of the best dynasties in the history of sports, and they just cannot win a playoff series. They can't get into the playoffs. It sucks. It would be nice to see them get back to glory. I'm gonna put Edmonton in a B tier. They're basically hand in hand with Calgary, except they won a few more cups. So Florida Panthers. Florida's a weird team. They were relatively new to the NHL. They haven't really done anything. They went to the one Stanley Cup Finals. They have a great team right now. Florida is just like a middling team. They're very much like the Columbus Blue Jackets, Dallas Stars. They came into the NHL late. But, I mean, Florida has always been a team that I've kind of enjoyed. I like their logo now. I never used to like it before. But their logo now is pretty good, honestly. I'm going to put Florida Panthers in like a low B. LA Kings, never liked the LA Kings. Never have. I've just never been an LA Kings guy. I don't know why. It just always seems to meet the team that knocks out the team that I like. And it's just like, fuck, LA's in the playoffs again. They're winning. Fuck, great. Anze Kopitar's a great player. I really like Anze Kopitar. I'm going to put LA down in like a high C. We got the Minnesota Wild, Florida 2.0. Came into the NHL late. Never really had a lot of success. Never really been a team that stood out to me. It's nice to see hockey back in Minnesota, a place that actually deserves hockey, in my opinion. I've always liked their logo. They've really stuck with the same logo for a long time. I've always liked Minnesota. I've always thought that Minnesota deserves more like credit for what they do with hockey. So I think Minnesota, for me, goes into a high B. We got the Canadiens. The Canadiens have won too much, bro. They've had too many fucking insanely good players. Give somebody else a turn, They finally are now, but fuck, Canadians have been so good over the years. It's just like hard to root for them. I've never been a Canadians guy. They have one of the best logos in hockey. I will give them that. I gotta do it, dude. I gotta do it. I have to. I just can't fucking put them any higher. I hate the Canadians. Nashville Predators. Nashville has ingrained themselves into my like heart. I don't know what it is about them. I've just liked them. They've had incredible goaltending and defense over the years. For an expansion team, they've stuck out to me so much more than other expansion teams. Plus, they've had one of the greatest logos in the NHL, in my opinion. I fucking love this logo. They've had a team that I've always enjoyed watching. I've always enjoyed following. I gotta put the Predators at I'm close to the Minnesota Wild. We're getting into the New York Triumvirate here. We got the New Jersey Devils. Never stuck out for me as a team. I do like their logo. Scott Stevens is an incredible player. Niedermeyer was an incredible player. They were never really fun teams to watch, though. They've always played boring hockey. Ever since the mid to early 2000s when they played the Trap, I've never really liked the Devils. Just because they're boring. They're fucking boring. They're a boring franchise. They never stuck out to me in any way. I'm going to put the New Jersey Devils in the C tier. I've always had a special place in my heart for the Islanders for some reason. I don't know why. I loved Tavares when he played there. He's a fucking traitor now, so fuck him. But I've always liked the Islanders. They've always been kind of like that scrappy underdog team that's never been very good, but they've always tried really hard, and they've always tried to get the best players they could. The best dynasty in the NHL is the Islanders. The 1980s Islanders. Brian Trottier, Mike Bossy. I love the old Islanders teams. I'm going to put the Islanders in a low A. And up next, we got the Rangers. I remember early to mid 2000s, before the salary cap era, before the first lockout in 2004, the Rangers just used to be that team. They were kind of like the New York Yankees of the NHL. Well, they just bought fucking players. They bought as much as they possibly could of players, and they just tried to be like a super team, and it never worked. I always used to laugh at them. I don't like the Rangers. They fucking suck. They have a good history, though. I will give you that. They have a great logo. I'm going to put the Rangers in a low B. Ottawa Senators are the worst Canadian franchise in the NHL. You'll never convince me otherwise. They're always consistently bad. I don't know how. They always suck, except for the Spezza, Alfredson, and Heatley years. For the most part, the Ottawa Senators have always fucking sucked. They're like the Leafs' little brother that is just not as good. The Ottawa Senators, for me, go in like a C. We got the Philadelphia Flyers. They're a little bit better than the New Jersey Devils. They usually play exciting hockey. They usually have really good players. I've always liked Claude Giroux. I've always thought he was an incredible player. I love Jacob Voracek back in the day. They had Bobby Clark. They had one of the meanest teams in the history of the NHL. The 1976 Philadelphia fucking Flyers, baby. Those guys were mean sons of bitches. They'd beat your grandma up if they could. They kicked the shit out of her. Little grandma Muriel, they'd beat the fucking flying fuck out of her. The city of Philadelphia is a mean fucking place. They throw batteries at people. I like Philadelphia Flyers. They're gonna go with the Rangers. They're going to a solid B tier. We got a little Pittsburgh Penguin here. I love Lemieux. Lemieux is one of my favorite players in the history of the NHL. I fucking love that guy. The guy's a stud. The guy's one of the greatest players of all time. In my opinion, he's very close to Gretzky. I used to love the Pittsburgh Penguins. They were always like that team that was shit back in the day, and then all of a sudden they got good, and it was kind of cool to like them, you know? They won their cups, they got their fucking things. I've always been an Evgeny Malkin fan, always been a Sidney Crosby fan. I like them. I'm going to put the Pittsburgh Penguins in a solid A tier. Now we got the San Jose Sharks. San Jose Sharks are always like the bridesmaid, never the bride. They always seem to have really, really good teams, and they can never win a cup. And I feel for them, dude. The closest they came was in 2010 against the Canucks, and we fucking beat them, baby. They've always seemed to have bad luck. And it's unfortunate, because I've always liked the San Jose Sharks. I love their logo. Joe Thornton, Patrick Marleau, all those guys, I love them. I'm going to put the San Jose Sharks just because I've liked them consistently over the years. I like their logo for the most part. I'm going to put them in a high B. We got the St. Louis Blues. St. Louis Blues are one of those teams that has lived in my heart and like mind and soul for many years. I love their logo. Their teams have always been like good and gritty and big and fast and fun to watch. They're fun hockey. One of my dad's favorite teams too. So I'm going to put the St. Louis Blues because they're just a great franchise overall. They have a lot of history. I'm going to put them in an A tier because I like them. The same kind of goes for the Tampa Bay. Vinny LeCavalier is one of the class acts of the NHL. Same with Martin St. Louis. Those teams back in the day were so fucking fun to watch. In an era where hockey was boring as shit, the Tampa Bay Lightning back in the day made it fun. They had Brad Richards, they had Vinny LeCavalier, they had Martin St. Louis, they had Dan Boyle. A lot of you guys probably don't remember these teams, but they were good teams. This is their cup-winning team back in 04, the year before the lockout. They were great fucking teams to watch, man. They had some exciting-ass players. I love the Tampa Bay Lightning. And nowadays, like, they're a dynasty, dude. They're one of the coolest dynasties in history. Another A-tier team for me. Bye. See you later. Fuck you. Get out of here. Go. Scat. There you go. Fuck the Leafs. Vegas Golden Knights, my second favorite team in the NHL. I don't know why. Ever since they came into the NHL, I've always fucking loved the Golden Knights. There are two teams in this entire place, in my opinion, that go into S because I fucking love them. And one of them is Vegas. They go up there. We got Washington Capitals up next. Another team that I've always liked. I love Ovechkin. Ovechkin, one of the best players in the history of the NHL. In my opinion, Ovechkin will break the record for most goals in history. He will. He's going to break Wayne Gretzky's record. He will get it. Been in my life. I watched him play live once. Incredible player. I fucking love Ovechkin. I love the Capitals in general. I'm kind of tempted to put the Capitals in S, but I'm going to put them in the top of A, above the Tampa Bay Lightning. We got Winnipeg Jets. I'm super happy that Winnipeg got an NHL team because they deserve it. Winnipeg deserved an NHL team. I'm super happy to see them back. Mark Scheifele is a fucking stud of a player. I love that guy. They have a great logo. I'm super happy with what they did with the logo. I'm just glad they brought the Winnipeg Jets back. I'm going to put the Winnipeg Jets in a solid B tier. One team. And you know where they go. The best team in the NHL. Yes, sir. Fuck out of here. Canucks are the greatest. Now I'm a homer. I'm a fucking homer. I love my Canucks, and I always will. Yes, sir. Canucks are the best. There's two teams in Block S, and one is the Canucks. That's the tier list, boys. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you.